Hello, one and all. And what is it? I normally say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. And here I am. Hi, everyone. It's good to be here. Well, I think it's good to be here anyway. As you might have seen from my when I was setting this up, there's something specific I'm going to talk about today, and I don't know how I feel about it. So I've made connection with another introvert who's doing a lot of work in the introvert space. And in fact, I've been invited to collaborate on a specific project. But what I've noticed over the last few days is that when I talk about something in my podcast or post something, a day or two afterwards, up it pops on this person's feed. And I'm kind of curious. Thank you for joining me. I can see someone's here, so say hi if you've joined me. And if you're watching on replay, of course, #replay. So how do you feel when somebody follows you? Yeah, walk away. Gosh, that's interesting, isn't it? Sorry, I don't know who you are, Facebook user, but pop your name in because I'd rather know who it is. So, oh, hello. I know who it is. As soon as he puts sis, I know who it is. So it's Paul. Hi, Paul. Yeah, it's really peculiar because I have been, I can see PHP. Thank you. I was about to collaborate with her in quite a significant way in terms of a multi-author book, which I'm not a big fan of. But here's what happened to me, you see. Because it's by introverts, for introverts, about introverts, I thought, I'm not sure I can, how about this for ego getting in the way? I'm not sure I can let a multi-author book go out there about introversion without me in it. I mean, how ridiculous is that? So I am really paying attention to this in terms of noticing actually whether to what extent it's okay, because to be honest, there's hardly anything new out there in the world, is it? It's not as though I'm creating completely new content. We all, I suppose, are curators in a way of other people's work. But it does seem mighty odd that it's only a day or two after I've done something, said something, posted something, my podcast is live, almost the same comment. In fact, I start reading it and think, oh, there'll be a credit for me somewhere here because it's so like my words. So, yeah, I'm a bit bemused. I was a bit miffed this morning. Yeah, let me just share this, Jen. That's a really interesting point. I haven't seen any credit for it yet, Jen, is the truth. So the honest answer is I don't know whether she is crediting me somehow and sharing it and I'm just not seeing it. So I can't answer that. Yeah, okay. This is saucy. This is already not a collaboration. This is not honesty in what they're doing in terms of copying your work. And that's what got me miffed. And as I say, there's very little that's new in this space. People could have said, I guess, that I copied Susan Cain, or that I copied any of the other people, Marty Laney Olson, who's written about introversion, Jennifer Kanwala, who's written about introversion. Everyone could be saying that, I've just copied their work. And I deliberately, before my TEDx, I refused to read any of their books because I didn't want it to come through somehow. Because when you've absorbed so much around you, you get to that point of not knowing whether it's yours or not. And I didn't want to put myself in that position before my TEDx. So I had the books on the shelf ready to read. I'm pointing here because they are literally here. But I didn't want to read them before I did my TEDx because I didn't want it to come across as though oh, that must be an original thought, when it wasn't necessarily. So I am debating actually whether to, and I think what I'm going to do is have a conversation. I'm not just going to back away. And this is, if you listen to my latest podcast about the courage of your convictions, and ironically, that's what the post was almost about, is about the importance of speaking up when we say something, when we have something that needs to be heard. I have something that needs to be heard. And I actually think I'm going to have a conversation with her. Because if I do choose to go ahead with this multi-author book, and as I say, I'm not a fan of them, but I don't know that, because I don't know who else is collaborating, I'd hate not to be part of a multi-author book talking about introversion if my voice wasn't in it. I think I need a conversation rather than just pull away, rather than make assumptions, because we know what assumptions do. And it might be that actually thinking is aligned. So we're all connected, aren't we, in some way? And whatever triggered my need to put up a podcast around speaking your mind, about having your own voice, maybe that was in the energetic field, and that was there as well. So let me share Jen's thing. Yes, yeah, that's absolutely right, Jen, and kind of that's what I need to check, and I think that's why I'm going to have a conversation. So I'm going to put my big girl pants on, and I'm going to message her directly and suggest that we have a conversation. And I'm going to be clear about my boundaries, and that if this is going to work as a collaboration, then this is how I expect things to move forward. So interesting. There was a third viewer who's now disappeared. I just wonder. So this is Paul again. Difference of values here. Yes. Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe I don't need to do any collaboration. So this is my ego getting in the way, and I think I need to work on that. And of course, my book is planned for a couple of years hence. I've worked out when's the best time to release it. It's not going to be shortly. It's not going to be this year. And this would have been a way of getting some of my work out into the public domain this year. So yeah, I need to reflect on that. And if it is my ego getting in the way, then I need to kind of specifically let that go, don't I? So thank you for letting me come here and have a little bit of a gentle rant. I'm never a screaming ranter. I'm always fairly controlled and measured, which is ironically part of what I'm talking about in this week's podcast episode. So thank you for joining me. For those of you who joined live, I really appreciate your comments and questions. Thank you. For those of you who watch on replay, #replay, let me know your thoughts and comments and maybe what you might do. And just to give you a heads up, what's coming this week. So this week's podcast episode is, gosh, can I remember what it's about? Let me go on to the show. Let me go on to the Flourishing Introvert show, because I can remember what that's about. That's about boundaries, and how ironic that this is coming up at the time when I'm prepping a show to talk about boundaries. But this week's podcast episode, oh, I remember now, is about, are you able to show up as you really are? So very interesting. Yes, thank you, Paul. Parting shot from Paul. You already know that this kind of collaboration is causing you tension. That tension is a signal to pay attention to. Indeed it is. And rather than repeating my old pattern, which is to kind of run away. So I'm a deserter in a former life. And when things got too tricky, I'd just turn heel and run away. I would never have the conversation, never have the difficult conversation, never turn and face it. And one of the things that I'm committed to right now is turning and facing those difficult times and showing introverts how to do that without stressing without going into kind of, over anxious mode, but being really clear about the message and stepping into my power. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining me. I hope you either manage to join my show or listen to my podcast this upcoming week. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Take care, everyone.